Aquarius Juno transit conjunction with Pluto is coming up with this transit, and we have the moon that's communicating right now in transit with both Juno and Pluto. This is a turning point in how we're relating to each other. It's a turning point in how we're going to contextualize relationships from here on out. This is critical because Pluto is going to demand that we respond to a point of disillusionment, which very well could be tonight, this evening in reflection. If we're in tune with ourselves, there could be a great deal of disillusionment that's moving in the atmosphere. And this is in hindsight realizing that there's a contrast, there's a difference between what we feel ready and prepared to create, fulfill, or experience in relationship context or through relationship context, and what we have been entertaining or doing in relationship context. Through Aquarius, the whole point is, with the assistance of Pluto, releasing where there may be lingering obsessions, attachments, unhealthy connections that are very heavy. Releasing or avoiding, detaching from false expectations, or where there are relationship terms that requires one or the other person to do the spiritual work for the other person. Or if there are frequencies, vibrations that are not a match, that many like to call unequally yoked. This is where we realize relationships are opportunities. Relationships can mobilize purpose, missions, and services that our visions are holding. If we channel it, if we communicate it effectively, if we work together effectively, if we're in tune with each other to realize where our gifts and our talents are, our wisdom and experience, and what more we can accomplish if we will work together, if we will come together. The Aquarian disposition in relationships, it does not want to entertain baggage, emotional loads, and burdens that are at the beginner level of self-actualization. That is a very long and far journey down from the mountain for Aquarius to go to help you pick up the weight that you are responsible for. Aquarius is not going to entertain, allow, or be a part of a situation where someone may see you as a convenient dumping ground, taking their emotional burdens, bringing it to you and dumping it off, and after they feel lighter, they go on, they go their way, but they're not in position to necessarily receive the load that you have, because maybe they're not equipped spiritually to know how to process it, give proper feedback to it, or the depth of wisdom to understand or circumference your experiences. So what's the point when that's the case? Aquarius wants to make sure that there is an equal standing in relationships, that it's mutual opportunity, equality, because it works in this wise. The Aquarian disposition of relationship is, don't make the mistake of making me the focus. I won't make the mistake of making you the focus. Are we not visionaries? Did we not come together because we understood that we are visionaries? This is the unspoken agreement with Aquarius. We're here because we're visionaries. I expect you to have your shit together. I expect you to know how to carry yourself maturely, process your own emotional loads and baggage. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It means that you did learn how to manage yourself, your own life and affairs, and to show up whole and not half. A whole person. Wholeness, emotional balance, and wellness. Maturity, wisdom, spiritual empowerment, personal empowerment. These are things that are your responsibility, not mine. Aquarian disposition of relationship says, I don't have time for the toxic things, the negativity, the distractions. Aquarius rules the 11th house. That means Aquarius is goal-oriented. Aquarius is a missionary. There's a vision with Aquarius. There's always a vision with Aquarius. Aquarius is attempting to channel in and receive cosmic genius, Uranus. Aquarius is always trying to figure out how do I get to, and how do I remain in the outer rings of Saturn, not the inner rings. I'm not going back to restrictions and restraints, conformities, societal agreements, lower vibrations, the bickering back and forth, the negativity, the drama, distrust and all. No, come to me when you have self-mastery. I'll be here waiting when you figure out self-mastery, because those are not the conversations that I'm interested in having. These are not the dialogues that I'm interested in having. I want to talk about what is your vision and what is my vision. What do you believe in and what do I believe in? What do you see when you see the world? What patterns do you notice when you look out into the world? Where's the necessity in our community? Where's the necessity in our environment? Where's the necessity in our generation? Where's it at? Can you help me to look at this picture? Can you help me to contemplate this picture? Can you help me to decode the mystery of where we are? Can you help me to stay in a space of awareness of this ever-changing world? Aquarius relationship terms are two whole persons or more. I say or more because Aquarius is really three or more, you understand? But it's two or more persons who are already whole. You already have all that stuff done and figured out. I don't need to be going into your personal crisis all the time, doctoring you, healing you up, catching you up, correcting you, raising you, you understand? Or that's your mother's job, that was your daddy's job. Don't got time for that. You better be a whole person if you want to be in my company. You better be worth my time. You better be worth my energy. Or you're not going to see me. I'm going to disappear. That's Aquarius. And that's how relationships are going to be. Nobody's going to want to deal anymore with the toxicity and the drama. Why are you not a whole person? This is where whole people come together. Now, whole doesn't mean perfect. It doesn't mean you don't have issues like everybody else has. It doesn't mean that you have everything figured out, everything together. It doesn't mean that. It means that you figured something out for yourself and how to manage the phases of evolution that you inevitably must pass through. You figured it out. You figured out how to manage that. I got mine. Don't worry. I got mine. And you got yours. This doesn't mean that you can't be a friend to each other, because essentially Aquarius is the energy of friends, the 11th house. Okay? But friends are not there to manipulate each other. They're not there to use each other. Friends are not there for survival. They're there for fulfillment. There's a difference. When you step into Aquarius context of relationships, the reason you're together is not to survive. The reason you're together is not because you need each other. That's not Aquarius. Aquarius is from my free will, not from my desperation, not from my fear, not from guilt or shame or control or anxiety or toxic patterns, unhealed places within myself. No, my free will has me to desire to connect with you, not attached to you. It's of my free will that I enjoy your company. I enjoy your thoughts. I enjoy your words. I enjoy your presence. I enjoy your expressions. I appreciate who you are. I find that I'm a better person with you than without you. I find that I feel empowered with you than without you. I'm inspired with greater ideas, brilliance, genius, creativity. I'm motivated to serve something bigger than myself and not give up because of who you chose to be. And for this reason, I desire to connect with you and to maintain a healthy connection with you. But don't make the mistake of making the relationship about you. I won't make the mistake of making the relationship about me. It's about what we came together to do, what we came together to be. Love is perfected when there's connection and not attachment. When the reason you're together is through attachment, desperation, fear, demand, I have to do this, if I have to do that, this is going to happen if I don't. You're not confirming love. You're confirming need and desperation. Aquarius has cleared those things. I'm saying Aquarius because this is the context that we're going to take now in relationships. Please understand. I don't think it has to be said, but there could be benefit in me saying anyway, that of course, we've missed the Aquarian opportunity, when it's about these lower frequencies of lust, sex. You're with somebody because they're a status symbol for you. They're a trophy. They look good on your arm. You don't like to be alone. You're lonely. Or you're bored. You're trying to distract yourself from something or someone. You're creating and recreating over and over again karmic attachments. No, Aquarius or Aquarian relationship context is not going to entertain these things. What Pluto is going to do is reveal to us, mutually and individually, the difference, the contrast. Pluto is going to show us which one we are. Are you there because you need somebody else's light that you didn't learn how to procure or develop or channel for yourself? Are you there because you need the stability in someone that you didn't create for yourself? Are you there because you're afraid of rejection, afraid of isolation, afraid of being alone? You just need a security dog. You need somebody to just sit there and comfort you all day. Nobody's going to show up to compensate, to be the compensation for the spiritual work that you owe to yourself. It's not going to work that way anymore, because this is going to translate from now on as unnecessary burden. Understand that. Unnecessary burden. There's a lot of people who are going to have to do a lot of catching up because everybody wasn't paying attention. Everybody wasn't working on themselves. Many people lagged behind. Many people wasted time. And when it comes to relationships, you may find that someone may back away from you. Someone may pull away. Someone may realize, hey, this is a burden that I don't want to continue to invest in. This is an attachment that's not healthy for me. I don't see what's in it. I don't see where it's productive. I don't see where it's constructive. I don't see where it carries meaning or fulfillment. At the 11th house, in the world stage, or where you have that Aquarius placement. Someone may back away from you if you are that person who wasn't doing the work. You can't fake it. There's no way to fake it. You're not going to be able to rush and clean up your room real quick. You've had the time. You've had the opportunity. And there are many people who are going to see they don't have the light that they should. They're not at the frequency that they ought to be. And many are going to want to borrow from others' light, take from others' light, connect or attach themselves to others so that they can absorb and vampirically take into their self what they refuse to learn how to channel and develop for their own soul. And that's not going to fly. That's not going to work. When it comes to the Aquarian context of relationships, your emotional stability is your job. Your happiness is your responsibility. Your emotional security is your responsibility. Your peace of mind is your responsibility. None of that is anybody else's responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility. When you get to the Aquarian level in relationships, we share joy. We share happiness. We share strength. We share wisdom. We share light. You see, it's sharing, not just giving. Not just being exploited through unhealthy attachments where one is generating the substance and one refuses to generate that substance, and you're just sucking and taking, but you're not pouring back in because you don't have it. You're not pouring back into that person because you don't have it. You're bankrupt. In your soul, you're bankrupt. That's unfortunate. Where we're headed, that's unfortunate. Whole people now come together to connect, not attach. And many still don't know the difference. Connect, not attach. You're not going to attach to me. I'm not going to attach to you. Connect. Because we all have a 12th house that calls us at the end of the day, and you have a responsibility to be there at that 12th house at the end of the day. You better pour back into yourself. You have your daily ritual, and you cannot abandon that. Your inner child needs you to love on him or her ritualistically, and you can't abandon that ritual because of an attachment that you have with someone else that you turned into your God. There's a particular formula that you learn to be disciplined about in order to manifest what it means to show up for yourself, to love yourself, to honor yourself, to make sure that you have light tomorrow, to make sure that you have clarity tomorrow, to make sure that you have peace and you're full of love tomorrow. And that process can never include someone else. It must always include you and you alone, generating it, restoring it, replenishing it, maintaining it. And you can't do that being absorbed with other people. You connect, you experience other people, and you connect with other people. You work with other people. You make some sacrifices with other people. But you cannot abandon yourself. You cannot betray yourself. I hope we understand these things. It's very important. If you learn that and you connect with someone who doesn't understand that, you have a problem on your hands. Because such persons who learn this, they become someone who people love to be around because they feel the vitality in their soul and they want to absorb it, bask in it. It's a blessing to be around someone who's spiritually rich. It's a very trustworthy and warm energy. But if you're not a person who allowed yourself to understand what it takes to generate a heart full of love, peace of mind and clarity, emotional stability, happiness, joy, without need of stimulants, sex, substance, and distractions, promiscuity, company all throughout the day. That person who failed to do that for their own soul They will never comprehend you. They will never understand you. They won't understand when you have to pull back and go within. They'll never understand when you have to assign time to yourself because you're communing with yourself. They don't get it. They don't understand it. They don't comprehend it because it's not what they do. So what I'm describing is, this is where the breaking point is, where those who feel entitled to chosen people will realize you don't have access to chosen people just because you want a chosen person. You have to live as if you have decided to be chosen if you're going to have access to a chosen person. Because a chosen person knows their time, their energy is very limited. And they know the value of the energy that they carry. That it's not something to be taken for granted. It's not something to be wasted. Everybody doesn't deserve to be in your space or have access to you. Juno does represent marriages, soulmates, relationship commitments. It also does represent where we are focusing our commitment to at any given time in relation to the self. This is where interest has priority. That context now is Aquarius. When we talk about Aquarius and how we relate to other people, to the world, and to our reality, this is stepping into an intellectual context. It's also a service-oriented context. What also goes into this is humanitarian efforts. This is becoming aware that I'm part of a whole. I'm a member of a community, a society, a generation, a collective. And my value is determined by where I am giving service or how I'm giving service to that community or collective 11th house. So if there is to be value realized in the self in context to this transit of Juno, if there is to be a realization of value as it relates to relationships that you are perceiving or assessing, the value is determined by what it serves, how it serves, who it's serving, and the intellectual capacity that comes with it. This is going to change our appetite for what we want to experience with other people. This goes well with those who are interested in maintaining a consistent awareness on the world or global crisis, challenges, and events. Why? Aquarius is not vain. Aquarius is always looking for the progressive opportunity, the innovative opportunity where the necessity is at, where the necessity demands. And all of this is within crisis and chaos. All of this is where Capricorn systems and infrastructures and agreements have come to its limitations, have come to its end. There is plenty of this substance available in our current world events on this globe. There's a lot of drama. There's a lot of challenges. There's a lot of problems. There's a lot of unresolved issues. And this makes for a rich atmosphere for the Aquarian disposition of ourselves. There is plenty for us to focus on, figure out, find solutions for, and place ourselves in service to within this chaotic world environment generation. And this is where the meaning comes in. Let me add to this that when we are speaking about Aquarius, Aquarius is to present yourself as the shadow self, in form of the shadow. It is the intellectualized shadow. The intellectualized shadow in that your intellectual conversations are not empty, boring, vain, without direct application, without substantial significance that can be immediately pointed out or measured as relevant to the time at hand and the future opportunities that exist because of what takes place in the time at hand. It is not just to ramble on and talk about things and theories and ideas and opinions and sharing information that does nothing. It is to talk about what matters. It is to get down to the bottom of, to move substantial information, insights, visions, dreams, concepts, and possibilities. Aquarius is the concept of Capricorn manifest as a progressive expression of itself. That is Aquarius. Aquarius is, okay, we've come to the end of what our previous cycles can serve. It's time to improve and innovate. So Aquarius has a talent with immediately identifying where there is value, where there is a priority or order and hierarchy of value in people, in places, in things. That's very important because Aquarius has to be very decisive about building and destroying. Building and destroying. Aquarius is able to identify what needs to be destroyed in order to build. Aquarius is very good at identifying what we can go without and what we cannot go without. What is essential, what is primary, what is secondary, and what is optional. This is a talent with Aquarius. So, when it comes to our relationship realizations during Juno's transit through Aquarius, and especially as we come to a moment of disillusion when Juno comes in conjunction with Pluto, this is where we commit to what it means to be part of the whole, and this is working together with what Mars has to accomplish in Aries. Mars is attempting to broaden its horizon to a worldview of itself in Aries. That is, Aries the self, I am. With Neptune there, that I am says, I am part of. I am a frequency of, or I am of. You understand? So the 12th house and Neptune, Pisces, in these contexts, it's a realization that you are one frequency of light. The singularity, white light, bends into several frequencies, and you are only one of those frequencies. I am part of a whole. What does my identity serve in the whole? Who does my identity serve in the whole? What is the spiritual mission, the spiritual realization, the spiritual significance of who I am and what constitutes who I am, so that I may share it, so that I may serve with it? Understand? So this goes together. Juno helps us to understand who may be assigned in our timeline to manifest as a soulmate and or a soul contract. This is usually someone who comes to teach us who we are in relation to Aquarius, or how to catch up to the Aquarian frequencies before going to the next phase. This also could be someone who manifests into your life to help you with Aquarian type missions, objectives, projects, critical points of transition or critical points of change, adaptation. And someone who embodies the Aquarian energy may have to come to either teach you, guide you, support you, or assist you in a way that was contracted long before you came into this physical realm. It was agreed. You have the free will to do what you want with that contract, because it's not a karmic bond or obligation unless Saturn is involved with that aspect in transit according to your natal birth chart. This is a time where we could possibly want to be intentional about being purposeful, having a greater awareness of what's going on in the world and where the necessity or demand for advocacy, care, change, transformation could possibly be at. Where in the world, where in our family, where in society have we come to a cycle of futility with what we're doing and how we're living? Where is there the necessity for change, innovation, and forward motion, ideas, dreams, visions, concepts that needs to progress us, move us forward out of a stuck state? Okay, so these are things that are coming together through this Juno transit through Aquarius, and we want to open our minds to it. And concerning Aquarius, you know that Uranus is one of the lords of Aquarius, and for this reason, you are not going to relate to or seize the opportunity with Aquarius Juno if you have a closed mind. You have to have an open mind. You have to be flexible. You have to feel in yourself that I will honor myself with a purposeful, meaningful, fulfilling life. I will not waste my time and energy. Uranus also insists on honesty, truthfulness, authenticity. Main word, main expression, authenticity. Are you living authentic? Are you being authentic? This is why Aquarius doesn't exist without the shadow in front. The shadow is not behind the Aquarius expression. It is in front, leading the Aquarius expression, which is what makes Aquarius authentic. Authentication of Uranus. It's to lead an opportunity, vision, mission, purpose through your shadows. through your shadows. Let me give an example. The shadows is aspects of the self that was suppressed because of shame, guilt, threat, coercion, okay? Fear of rejection, so on and so forth. Understand that. So, when it comes to expanding our mind into compatibility with Uranus, we're going to have to make sure that our nervous system is not resisting change. It's not resisting possibility. It's not resisting correction. It's also not resisting the shock, the sudden shock of truth, the sudden shock of reality, the sudden shock of realization, the sudden shock of honesty. Our nervous system has to catch up to hold and endure the shock of truth. I cannot emphasize this enough. Otherwise, you will remain in the limitations of your security blanket, your comfort, conformity, what you are used to. Uranus is pearl clutching, audacity, going directly against the status quo, going directly against, boldly, public opinion, going directly against the popular idea, what has been held as acceptable or appropriate. It is to go the opposite way, but not for the hell of it. Revolutionaries for the revelation. Understand, it's always purposeful. It's always personal through the shadows. Aquarian relationship context includes the shadows. In other words, relationships where there's no suppression of the self. There's no hiding of the self. There's no pretending. There's no coercion. There's no force. There's no threat that, oh, you're going to leave me if I do this. I don't want to scare you away. I don't want to run you off. Your shadows are there. You're being real. I keep throwing some difficult to digest concepts along this line too, you folks out there. And the fact that what I've learned is that more females practice polygamy than males. And the children and the diversity of their parents between siblings also remains as evidence of that. But on top of that, it is arguable, rather or not, man willingly signs up for monogamy, or rather he's coerced into it, under duress, threat, that, oh, I'm going to lose the girl if I reveal my true nature, if I'm honest about what I really want. People are going to scrutinize me. They're going to judge me. The court of public opinion is going to hang me. There's going to be a witch hunt. I'm going to be shamed and criticized and judged. So the seventh house then is entered and contracted under duress into monogamous ideals that he usually cannot fulfill honestly, that he usually fails to manifest and deliver upon. Polygamy and polygyny is what people are practicing in secret. It's what they are doing. It's what they have been doing. Monogamy, however, is the presentation. It's the face. It's what people say they are doing. But it's not what people are actually doing. What does Aquarius look like in a context like that? I'm not going to hide and I'm not going to suppress anything. Anything in me that is an impulse. Anything in me that is true to me or authentic to me. I don't need public opinion to judge me as being right or wrong. I don't fear rejection, scrutiny, examination, public opinion, witch hunts. I will not suppress what is true of me. I will not suppress what is honest of me. I will not suppress who or what I am. I will claim it. I will declare it. I won't blink. It is to come clean, to set oneself free. Uranus is freedom and liberation. Aquarius cannot be contained, bound, or chained. And to live a lie is to chain yourself up. To say one thing and do another is to chain yourself up. To suppress the truth in yourself, the honesty about yourself or your nature, while under coercion, fear, or duress, or shame and guilt, you are a slave. You have chained yourself up. Not Uranus, not Aquarius, not the outer rings of Saturn. Eccentricity, uniqueness, unorthodox disposition and expression, authenticity, showing up really as you are, nothing to hide, being real. But being real, it warrants scrutiny, judgment, criticism, shame, because there's a natural impulse to control what expresses itself as free, to contain what expresses itself as liberated. If those who are in front of free expression are themselves not free, they will not be able to resist, but to contain the one who is. It's all part of what it means to honor yourself. Everyone wants to be understood. Everyone wants to feel like they're comprehended and understood. So, like minds, like spirits, like souls, they gotta match. Aquarius is a very high frequency. It's a very high frequency. So if you are not doing the work, you're going to lose access to those who were doing the work. Nobody's going to just take and cipher the spiritual vitality, force, power, energy, warmth, and light of those who did figure it out for themselves. You're going to earn your keep. You're going to earn your rank. You're going to earn your status. You're not just going to take. It don't work like that. Where's your light? Where's your emotional stability? Where's your clarity? Where's your inner peace and happiness and love? And you can't fake it. It's not something you can fake. It is a daily ritual that only those frequencies understand. And it has a lot to do with spending a lot of time by yourself. It began as isolation when we were resisting to be alone. And it became solitude when we learned to be wise enough to embrace being alone. Now, the circumstantial design of Aquarius style relationships are going to be unorthodox, eccentric. It's going to have a design to it that was born out of necessity. It was born out of necessity. That's how you know it's real. That's how you know it's sincere. That's how you know it's authentic. It came from necessity. So if you look at a design of an Aquarian inspired relationship that has this edgy, rebellious energy or style to it, where it's non-traditional, it goes against status quo, it's something that may be scrutinized, judged, or criticized. People may look at it and say that makes no sense. That's not how we do it. That's not traditional. I don't get it. Is that normal? Is that a thing? And that's how you know, yes, it's Aquarian. And it may directly oppose traditions from your ancestors, your household, your community, your demographic, your country, your religion. Okay? It's going to have a rebellion to something. It's going to have a revolutionary coup d'etat to something behind you tied to your identity. And what this demonstrates is that when it comes to Aquarian context relationships such as Aquarian Juno, where we're going to have this realization of how we're going to approach relationships, is that Aquarian relationships connect through shadows. They connect through shadows. My shadow becomes a point of attraction to your shadow, and vice versa. It's our shadows that we recognize in each other that becomes the point of attraction. It's the shadows that tells us that we should be contracted, that we should be connected, that we have something to accomplish. It's the realization mutually in our shadows, as we lead life with our shadows, that we realize empowerment, opportunity, or possibility through other people. It's shadows. The admiration is in the shadow of the other person. The respect is in the shadow of the other person. The security, the comfort, the reason that we feel we can trust the person is because of their shadows. They're not hiding their shadows. They're leading with their shadows. The shadow is the point of connection. That is the difference when it comes to Aquarian context relationships. Is that our shadows are in front of us in this relationship. Our shadows formed a relationship before we did. You understand? That becomes the point of connection. If I give an example, let's say traditionally let's say traditionally you come from a demographic, a community or ancestry where it was forbidden or taboo that when you're married, you should live in different households. Okay, let's just throw that out there for example. Necessity gave you that revelation that we should live in different households. our shadows mutually gave us the confirmation that this is what is fulfilling and this is what makes sense. The shadows and the necessity points at experiences behind us as related to Chiron, shadow work, inner healing, transformation, self-acceptance. That authenticity that was realized in the transfer of isolation into solitude, 12th house in Virgo, Pisces in Virgo axis. Understand, number nine application, listen. Number 9 hermit card application, understand. That's where that comes from. And so the Aquarian connections, they have this way about themselves where the number 9 hermit card process taught them that there's a ritual that connects them to the divine, that always keeps them replenished, empowered, and in spiritual frame, to where they feel one with source and where they feel like their life makes sense and why they're here. Their wisdom and experiences connects with creativity and innovative wisdom, and genius comes down, through this. So with that being said, you don't want to disturb or change certain things about yourself that source taught you or source gave you the recipe for. So it causes you to have to design your world and your life, as well as your relationships and your interaction with the world, around that divine prescription. You can't disturb that divine prescription. You cannot change or compromise that divine description. So there goes your necessity, or part of the necessity. Out of necessity I learned that I need this amount of time or space or energy, throughout the day. And I just have to be in my own energy, to a certain extent, or I have to have the option to immediately, manifest this particular formula in my schedule when my spirit convicts me to do it, or I can't absorb somebody's energy for too long. I'm too sensitive for it. It takes me out of whack. I can't, lay in a bed and sleep with someone every night. I could do it every now and then, but there's something about the way my soul works, the way I'm connected with source. I have to be able to regulate who I am at this high spiritual frequency. You see, you got to be able to regulate that. You can't regulate who you are if you break the formula. If you change the recipe, you can't manifest it if you keep changing the recipe. So that necessity may have you to design your relationship in a way that honors that need, that personal need. It's mutually understood and agreed to because the other person received the same prescription, but in their own context, okay? This is where you realize Aquarian frequencies have a lot in common, okay? So it's like, okay, I understand, you need your own space or whatever, different things like that, or, these particular things, or, at night I get up at 3 a.m. and I pray and I do this and that, and I just can't be, in somebody else's energy. I love you, I care about you. I'm happy that we have, this relationship or connection that we have. But listen, this is how I need it. I have to have my own space. I just have to have my own space. Okay. I don't want to see you every day. Okay. That's too much for me. I could see you every other day. I could see you once a month. I could see you. You understand? So there are particular things that came out of necessity, that became taboos or spiritual requirements that also were learned as we reinstate our shadows into our life, and as we learn our assignment with Source and what it takes to sustain the self to be able to fulfill that, that assignment. You understand? So these are part of the details that informs us of where the necessity is at, which determines the design of the relationship. You understand? So it's just an example. I hope that's not too complicated, sophisticated. Let me know in the comments if you understand what I'm saying. Let me know in the comments. So anyway, I could go over a couple other things, but this is a time where relationships are going to be designed according to necessity. It's also going to be expressed through authenticity. And authenticity is not to just be a reckless rebel. Authenticity means that if I'm to be true, if I'm to be honest, if I'm to be real, this is what I need and require. You understand? If I'm not to suppress myself, I have to find a way to express what has been suppressed in a way that is accountable and reflects my moral commitment. Understand? That is responsible, that is just. This may mean transparency and honesty about what we want and what we don't want, who we are and who we're not. You understand? I express all the time about the fact that in this society, polygyny and polygamy is practiced all the time. I'm convinced that it's more common than monogamy. It's just that it's done so in a dishonest light or darkness. It's hidden. People are sneaking. People are lying. There's coercion going on. Things are being done hidden in the dark. It's causing injury, offenses. It's causing divorces, breakup, hurt, pain, trauma, okay? But what I call to is that with honesty, we can add accountability and moral commitment to what obviously has been suppressed, or what obviously is truth and honesty that doesn't have a place to be accepted in a world where we're conditioned to hold a certain modality that we're used to. It's like monogamy is the face of things. It's the claim of things, but it's not really what's being done. Men are being shared every day. Women are being shared too. But it's not in a way that includes responsibility, accountability, transparency, integrity. And that would be the only difference in approaching a necessity authentically, adding accountability and moral commitment as well as transparency to what already is the case.